man, a barrage of late afternoon, early evening Ravens-related news, and I'm going to break it all down for you coming up over the course of the next hour. Welcome inside the channel. I'm Bobby Trosset. As always, this is where I bring you Ravens news, Baltimore sports and beyond, and a number of other things. It is 5:09 Eastern Standard Time, just turned to 5:10. It's the 8th of December, a Monday, and for the Ravens, it's Week 15 of this NFL regular season. Their loss to the Steelers is in the rear view, but obviously it looms significant in terms of the tall task now ahead of them in this closing 4-week stretch, which, by the way, part of the breaking news that's on top of the Ben Cleveland suspension, which I'm about to detail in full, is that Week 16 game that was previously scheduled at the bank for 1 o'clock between the Ravens and Patriots has been flexed to Sunday Night Football. So it's Sunday Night Football, 8:20 kickoff, Week 16. That is 2 weeks away. Mark your calendars accordingly. That is Sunday, December 21st. It was originally scheduled for 1 o'clock, and now that is Sunday Night Football. So the Dolphins and Bengals are out. The Ravens and Patriots, Lamar Jackson, Drake May are in. It's going to be a big game for AFC playoff implications, and obviously the Ravens have a razor-thin margin of error as they've had now for weeks, but it's a little bit more after yesterday's loss to the Steelers, which was a 27-22 final. So that's where things stand right now. I'm going to have takeaways from John Harbaugh's press conference to get to, the Ben Cleveland breaking news, and a number of other things. Glad you're here. It's brought to you by my friends at Preston Automotive Group, this live stream. And if you could on the way in, like the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell, consider becoming a channel member, gift-giving membership, and consider this. Ben Cleveland, a former Ravens draft pick, somebody that was re-signed this offseason by the team for a very, very, I was going to say lucrative, and that would be just straight up wrong. Matter of fact, it was a 1-year, $1.170 million contract. So very little. He's been suspended 3 games, the next 3 games without pay for violating the NFL's substance abuse policy. He was cited for driving under the influence in Georgia back in February. This had been brewing for a while. We fully expected something to come down along the lines related to this. Jeff Zrebiec said as much on our Tuesday night show, Inside the Collective, and now it is official that Ben Cleveland, despite being inactive as a healthy scratch for weeks now, as Jeff noted here, Ben Cleveland now will serve a 3-game suspension. Jeff also notes that he recently plea bargained and received probation. I have his snap count here. Obviously, you've seen very little of Ben Cleveland. He's logged just 3 offensive snaps and has been inactive the last several weeks. He has played some special teams. But Ben Cleveland, John Harbaugh's guy in a lot of ways, a hand-picked John Harbaugh's guy out of Georgia years ago. So much promise, so much potential. At least that's what the Ravens told us. 6'6", 355, a third-rounder. Back in 2021, he was a third-team All-American at Georgia, first-team All-SEC back in 2020. Hasn't exactly realized that potential over his time in Baltimore, now has he? It's a bummer. It's a bummer for Ben. It's a bummer for the Ravens. It's a big bummer for the current state of the Ravens guard play. Because as we saw yesterday, whether it was Faalele or Voorhees, yeah, they're capable at times of moving bodies in the run game. They're capable at times of showing up stout in pass protection. But what about the lowlights? How low can you go? And at this point, when is enough enough? Emory Jones, after logging 16 snaps in what became his NFL debut on Thanksgiving night against the Bengals, went for a goose egg yesterday in Baltimore. He was up. He was ready, but they didn't go to him. And instead, they allowed Daniel Faalele to continue to put Lamar in difficult spots. And it may only be a handful here, a handful there. That's not good enough. It won't be good enough. It hasn't been good enough. John Harbaugh talked about his offensive line earlier this afternoon.
With going forward, with the offensive line, we've asked you a lot about changes. Were you pleased how that group played as a whole on Sunday? I know there's been a lot of talk about Faalele's play and how he got beaten on a couple of occasions. What did you see when you evaluated him, and as you continue to evaluate him?
Yeah, I just talked to George Moorhup about it. It's all in all, I thought the offensive line played well, all in all. And I thought the two tackles played two of their best games. Rodgers overset one time, got beat inside on a certain type of pass protection. Tyler played really well. I thought the guards played exceptionally well in the run game. I mean, they were moving people. They were wearing people out. So that was good to see. I thought they were mostly good in the pass game, but too inconsistent probably. There was two or three each of them had probably. Daniel had a couple in the pass game, and Andrew might have had one or two in the run game he wants back. But every player has plays they want back. I can think of one where Daniel was hard setting, like a hard play action, where it was more of a drop back pass type protection, got overextended and got beat like that. That really shouldn't happen. I mean, he should be setting a different way there. He knows that. So that was a mistake. Lots of other times it was good. We got beat toward the end on a two-man inside game, that we could have done a better job on. Keep Lamar clean right at the end of the game there. So things like that needed to be better from the interior guys.
Again, it might be a handful there, one here, two there, three over there, but those can be game-changing plays. Much like on 3rd and short, I think it was 3rd and 4, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 4, I believe. When Patrick Queen comes in like a rocket on a blitz, and here comes 6, totally untouched, undiagnosed by Daniel Faalele, who was looking for work, gets caught looking for work yet again. That's the biggest gripe for him, right? At times it's like, yo, just use your frame for something. It is frustrating to watch. And I don't have a dog in the fight from a fandom perspective. Shannon Sharpe was damn near sweat, not damn near. He was drenched in sweat out of the anxiety that it caused him watching that game as a former player himself on the offensive side of the ball. Like at times you just want him to put a body on somebody, put a limb on somebody. You're 6'8", 350 plus pounds. Come on now. So Queen goes in untouched. Rasheen Ali whiffs. Lamar's got to step up in the pocket, rush his throw to Rashad Bateman. It's not on Lamar. Was it perfectly placed? No, it's on Bateman. It's a drop. It's not on Lamar. But why was he rushed? Why did he have to kind of maneuver around the pocket? Because Faalele did not diagnose it. Now, look, from a PFF perspective, the evaluation standpoint, I get it. That's probably on Rasheen Ali, which is why he graded out horrifically in Pass Pro. I saw Coach Evans put the pass protection grades up, and Rasheen was the lowest graded out player who qualified, a 33.5 overall grade. You want to know who was the next worst? Faalele at 39.4. That's pretty inconsistent. So I get it. John Harbaugh's not going to get up there and torch these guys. That's how it goes. It's coach speak. It's loyalty. It's brotherhood. That's how you work it from a PR standpoint. But at the same time, aren't you past the idea of these conversations being had behind closed doors? Because they're definitely being had. Heck, there was a conversation in-game on the sideline that Tracy Wolfson spoke about. And by the way, she joined Glenn Clark earlier and gave more perspective on that. Glenn Clark Radio. Here's Tracy.
Brewing on the Ravens sideline after that interception. Lamar threw his helmet. He then had a talk with right guard Daniel Faalele, who said they know it's coming every time. And then Zay Flowers came over as well, added to the discussion. It's just all hands on deck to try to get this offense going, guys.
Yeah, look, we get snippets We can see and only report what we hear, right? Certain things. We can't report everything. That is not, our role. It was just communication, right? Just conversation between Lamar and look, Lamar rarely gets up and talk. It was Faalele that came over to him. Lamar rarely gets up and interacts, and a lot of the quarterbacks do that, by the way. They sit by themselves, they do their thing. And then there's other quarterbacks, who get up and go over and talk to their line and their wide receivers and running backs and are really involved. It's just the personalities of the quarterbacks. But Faalele felt like he had to come over and explain what was happening, felt like they saw something. And so, yes, I think it was misconstrued, that report, and I apologize if it came off that way. But it was just more along the lines of they're trying to figure something out here, right? They know something is off, and how can they fix it before it gets worse? And that was early in the game. I do still think there is some disconnect, or, I don't really know. Like I said, it's one game, but there's definitely something off with the offense. And it could just be, Lamar not feeling like Lamar.
You can go check out that interview in full at Glenn Clark Radio. I had his tag up on there on X that you can go find that on YouTube at Glenn Clark Radio. So kind of an interesting clarification there. It was Daniel who approached Lamar, not Lamar who approached Daniel. So perhaps it wasn't a heated sideline discussion after all when it comes to Lamar initiating it. But who cares, really, right? Because it hasn't been good enough. And it's one of the main reasons why this Ravens offense isn't, as Dan Orlovsky put it earlier today in one of his breakdowns, broken. This offense doesn't appear to be broken. It is broken. It's broken in the red zone. It's broken in inconsistent pass protection. It's broken in inconsistent, effectively running the football. It's inconsistent from a ball security standpoint. It's inconsistent from an inaccuracy standpoint from Lamar's perspective. I could go on and on and on. But let's stick with Faalele for your entertainment purposes, because Shannon Sharpe went nuclear on Nightcap last night.
To be that big and that sorry. That needs to be a prerequisite. If you this big, you got to be good. This man, he can't block the sun out of his eyes, let alone a defensive lineman or an extra blitzer coming.
Let me. What number is he? Don't say 77.
77. Faalele.
Yeah. Okay.
Faalele?
Yeah.
He fillet. Fish fillet.
Oh boy. I know you guys enjoyed that one. Fish fillet. There were so many different pieces of that rant that I went down a rabbit hole earlier this morning trying to transcribe as many of them as I saw fit, but also saw relevant to the entertainment purpose of it, but also the levels of extreme that this has come to. And I'm not talking about from a hyperbolic standpoint. You've got a former Raven, a Hall of Famer, a Super Bowl champion, who's echoing a lot of your thoughts out there, not just this season, but dating back to last season, 14, 15, 16 months at this point, of the Daniel Faalele experience. Quote, "You shouldn't be allowed to be that big and that sorry. He can't block the sun out of his eyes, let alone a defensive lineman or a blitzer coming. Filet? He filet. Fish filet." Quote, "As bad as he's been playing this entire season, how bad must his backup be? If the backup that bad, he ain't even a high school player." Quote, "He's as big as he is sorry." I should be ending quotes, but I think you know that I'm going from line to line here. Quote, "I know damn well ain't nobody ever told him this year, good game. They lied if they did. Everybody know when they play like some stir fry." These are direct quotes from Shannon. You can't make this shit up. You really can't. We'll get to the guest lines in just a bit. The waiting room is cooking right now, much like the vault was earlier this afternoon. I appreciate you guys for dropping by. Quote, "He hurt me," at the top of his lungs. Quote, I'm frustrated and I haven't gotten hit in 20 years. Quote, this is why I couldn't coach. Quote, if he's the solution, what's the problem? If he's the answer, what's the question? It's hard for me to believe that there are linemen worse than what he is. I refuse to believe that. And then went on to get after Faalele for skipping his media availability. He was seen by reporters post-game in the locker room. He was not fully dressed. There's protocol in the locker room for media that you do not approach players for interviewing and interviewers or interview opportunities without them fully clothed. They respected that type of protocol. Daniel nodded to them and walked off. Shannon went nuts about it. The whole clip goes literally like 15 minutes. I mean, it's on and on and on. Listen to more of this.
Be allowed to be that big and that sorry. That needs to be a prerequisite. If you this big, you got to be good. This man, he can't block the sun out of his eyes, let alone a defensive lineman or an extra blitzer coming.
Let me. What number is he? Don't say 77.
77. Faalele.
Yeah. Okay.
Faalele?
Yeah.
He fillet. Fish fillet.
Yeah.
At this point, so Ocho, let me ask you this. If
Yes, sir.
bad as he's been playing this entire season, how bad must his backup be? Chad, y'all need to help me out. If he's this bad, he's so bad that you can't bench him, how bad, but ain't no. I need somebody to help me. Ain't no way the backup can be that bad. Because if the backup that bad, he ain't even a high school player. I mean, how you pass that and you don't block nobody?
Yeah.
I mean, to be that big, I mean, the sun rise up and the sun shining, he can't even block the sun out of his eyes, Ocho. Sun blind him. He just walked right into the wall because he can't do this.
Yeah, he got his shot. Man, he a big boy too now.
Big and terrible.
He a big boy. Damn.
He's as big as he is sorry.
Yeah, you know that's your team that lost too now.
I'm muting him for a second because, God, part of me doesn't want to laugh, right? Because these guys are professionals and they got to look at themselves in the mirror every single day. And, you know, part of me is like, man, this is on the staff, not Daniel himself, right? Like, he's not the one that, I mean, sure, he could bench himself, but you don't do that. That's just not something that happens. Look at Unk right now. I mean, I got him muted right now. So in one breath, I'm trying not to laugh, but Shannon is out of this world. Just so not even irate. Like he's almost delirious by the idea that this is the best they can do from a right guard standpoint. All right, I'll unmute it. Back to it in a second here. We'll get to the guest lines in just a second.
Your wife or your girlfriend. How you go get gas?
In public.
Yes. I know damn well ain't nobody ever told him this year, good game. They lied if they did. You go into hell. If you told that man good game, you lied to his face. And he know it. Everybody know when they play like some stir fry.
I mean, he's probably not playing with confidence right now. He's probably not playing. And the fact that, and if there was an altercation and you get into it with your quarterback, where your quarterback has to address, you not doing well in a game, that will hurt your confidence even more. That'll hurt your confidence even more.
They putting their helmet in my back. That's hurting me. He should have soccer style and kicked him in his ass. What he should have did when he been up with Lamar, go up in the center, kicked him in his tail.
Yeah. That rarely happens too. You never see a quarterback really chastise his offensive line.
No,
they
don't.
When they get hurt, that rarely happens.
But I will mute this part because Tracy Wolfson gave us the update, as I just shared with you within the last couple of minutes, that it was Daniel who approached Lamar. And that was taken a bit out of context there based on some of the vagueness that came with that report. I know you guys are crushing me right now for muting what you probably now view as gospel.
It's your chat. Do you think Lamar Jackson has said, come on, guys, we need to pick it up? Hey, come on. Hold on. What his name is? What's his name? Daniel. Come on, Dad. Hey, come on. We gonna get him. We gonna be all right. And hey, come on, Dad. We gonna get him. We gonna be all right. If I'm Lamar, no, we not. This man gonna get me killed. What they should do, Lamar say, you know what? I'm gonna go play guard, and I want you to play quarterback, and I'm gonna do to you what you've been doing to me. I ain't gonna block a damn soul, and I want him to tear your ass up. We had that happen at Savannah State. Guard didn't miss the block. Coach, I tell you what, hey, you get here, you get there. Let me see how you like it. That's embarrassing. At some point in time, you know what, Ocho? At some point in time, you say, you know what? Damn this. You not been to whip my ass all day, every day. Don't you got some pride? Forget the Ravens. What about that name on the back?
I was just going to say that.
It's written in white. I'll give you a Sharpie and darken it out. You ain't going to know who this is. Put me in witness protection.
That's on film.
That ain't me. Man, that you 77? Nah, that ain't me. Chet, y'all been fishing. When you get a fish, when you get him on the line, what you can't do, Ocho? Let him off the hook.
Yeah.
I don't want to beat him too bad early because I don't want to get him benched. Because see, if I beat him too early, they're going to bench it. See, I'm going to wait till the right time. I'm waiting to get to the fourth quarter. That's when I'm going to really start tearing his ass up.
Yeah, I know Lamar frustrated, man.
Me, I'm frustrated, and I ain't got hit in 20 years. And, Ocho, it was the 25th anniversary of the Super Bowl team. They got Letterman jackets out there. Boy, you know if I'd have been down and ran on the field, I'd have ran out there with you terrible.
Why you ain't go, huh?
Long story. I explained it to you.
Ooh, that's a good place to pause right there. There's some meat left on that bone. Why Shannon wasn't in attendance with the rest of his teammates who traveled to Baltimore for the 25th anniversary and the reunion of his 2000 Super Bowl winning team. I feel like there's a follow-up required there. But I do want to pause that because it's a 15-minute clip that I tried to condense as much as I possibly could and spent way too much time on it this morning. But before we revisit that, let's reset things. You probably showed up here, if you're in the YouTube space, after what you saw the way this live stream was built out visually. It's Ben Cleveland, who now is facing and about to serve a 3-game suspension. That's what we just learned a short while ago. The Ravens made the announcement, relaying it from the National Football League, that Ben violated the NFL's substances of abuse policy. He will be suspended without pay. This stems from his offseason arrest on DUI charges, as Jeff adds context here in the version of a quote tweet. And he recently plea bargained. He received probation. He's obviously been a healthy scratch, completely uninvolved, a non-factor with this Ravens offense in recent weeks. And that is the breaking news as it relates to a former day 2 pick out of Georgia, known as John Harbaugh's hand-picked guy, who obviously has not even come close to realizing some of the potential that he came in with as a Bulldog. That is that. Let's open up the guest lines. Captain Hard gets us started, though, in Super Chats tonight. And he says, admitting I was wrong on the roughing flag. That was a big swing, and we would only needed a field goal. Just that alone cost us a game. We could have played better, but the refs could have been better as well. I'm going to dedicate the entire second half of tonight's show to that and how John Harbaugh actually relayed from the league something that they admitted was wrong and their mistake. Hint, hint, has everything to do with Captain Super Chat. Appreciate you for throwing that comment in there, and appreciate all of you guys for being with us. Over 600 concurrents and counting. If you could on the way in, like the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell, consider becoming a channel member or gift-giving membership. I'll get to as many Super Chats as I can. But first, to the waiting room we go. And it's in chronological order, gentlemen. Oscar, you're up first, my man. What's going on? Welcome back to the program. I'll get your 60-second up on the clock in just a second. But great to have you back on. What's going on, brother?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
You got it? Cool. I mean, enough of the Faalele, maybe he is singing Deck the Halls on his head, besides blocking people, enough of that. What I was most frustrated with yesterday was the D-line. I mean, we're playing Aaron Rodgers with one healthy hand. When that tackle came in, the third string, I think you even said yesterday, the fifth string after Andrus Peat, all we did was rush that side. That's all we did. And 3 plays later, they could have handpicked. It was Warren that was right open and another Steeler on the other side of the defense. They could have handpicked. They were both wide open. They were galloping into the end zone, butt ass naked, excuse me my language, side by side, because we're focused on that fifth string tackle and nobody is communicating and the other side is being left open. I mean, what is happening? I can't fathom it. I'm so frustrated still.
It was a rough sequence for sure. They picked a really bad time to do something that more or less had been uncharacteristic in recent weeks with this defensive turnaround. But let's be honest, Aaron had multiple options, to your point. He just decided to pick the easiest one in Jaylen Warren, who literally waltzed into the end zone untouched. Mike Green, Alohi Gilman, not great optics for those two guys when it comes to their assignments. John Harbaugh did not call them out specifically, but I think we all know when we watch the film and that specific playback that pretty obvious. Thanks for the call, brother.
Yep. Thanks.
Appreciate you, Oscar. Guest lines are open. If you guys would like to share a thought, this is an episode that's built around Ben Cleveland's breaking news. He's been suspended for violating the league's substances of abuse policy. This stems from a DUI back in February and an arrest. He did finalize a plea deal, and again, he will now, without pay, begin to serve his 3-game suspension from the league. Chef Trez is in the middle of beanie season, looking like $1 million down in my waiting room. I wonder if he's going to get after me about something. Guest lines are open. If you'd like to share a thought with me, it's pinned right now in my live chat. And it's a big audience tonight. Let's keep getting that number north. See if we can get to 700. Chef, great to see you, brother. What's going on?
Bobby, you and these damn crutch phrases, man. I swear to goodness.
What you got on me now? Did you hear your shout out the other day?
Yeah, I did. Thank you, but like you and these crutch phrases, man. But also, other thing, you got to up this timer to 90 seconds, man. 60 seconds is so quick. But
just for that,
to keep it on topic,
just for that, I'll reset your ass.
To keep it on topic, I feel like the Ben Cleveland thing doesn't really factor in that much. Long story short, I mean, I'm still sticking with my pick of the Ravens are cooked. Mostly because there's just still those underlying issues that got Band-Aid fixes during the season, and they weren't really addressed during the offseason. I know during the offseason, I wanted a right guard. Eric DeCosta didn't get one. He didn't get one for the left guard either. But I wanted a guard. It never happened. And then now, I mean, we're seeing we're seeing the results of that. So I mean, again, just like, you know, with how everything is playing out right now, I mean, you reap what you sow. I mean, that's your bed. You made it, so you gotta lay in it. So I mean, it is what it is.
It's a failure. In other words,
Yeah.
it's a failure, and there's multiple layers as to why that's the case. George Warhop, the front office, John Harbaugh for not being the ultimate guy that can change this with the drop of a hat and the snap of 2 fingers. Daniel himself for existing. I mean that respectfully. He's obviously regressed significantly.
That sounded mean as hell, Bob.
It does. It does. And he should look. I hope that he realizes his potential at some point throughout his NFL career. That hasn't been the case this year. He has shown up at times, clogging up space effectively in the run game, showing up at times in pass protection. But again, even as John Harbaugh just put it, and I know that was me. You're right, Kieran. I shouldn't have said that. even if it is a handful of plays throughout the course of a string of games, throughout the course of a game, throughout the course of a drive. I mean, we see that those deficiencies, those weaknesses help decide games. Does Lamar easily convert with Rashad in that dump off in the flat yesterday, if not for being forced to move up in the pocket? I mean, come on.
I would say a clean pocket because, like, again, we've seen it last year. We've seen it years previous where he has a clean pocket, he has time to throw, and he makes the throws.
Yeah.
The thing is, earlier in Lamar's career, when he didn't have a clean pocket or he was rushing and stuff like that, he would rush through his mechanics. His footwork would either get sloppy or, I mean, he would rush a pass, he would either spike in dirt or something or overthrow. But when he has a clean pocket, like he's damn near surgical. I mean, there's almost nothing he can't do when he has a clean pocket. And that's the problem where I I still kind of I definitely put this on John Harbaugh where like I still feel like it was pretty irresponsible to kind of put the hope of the season on a rookie Emory Jones coming back from an injury, then having to learn NFL game speed and all that other stuff to try and save the season. And then once you put him out there, you put you put him out there for Voorhees, which I get it. Voorhees is inconsistent. However, that can be fixed with good coaching. Faalele is just consistently bad with like some good getting his big body in the way to clog lanes or whatever, so he opens up like gaps and stuff for runs. But for the most part, he's just consistently bad. So
And that might be,
that's
right? Like, I feel like we need to define that too, right? Like, that may only be 2% of his snaps on a daily, on any given Sunday, right? But that 2%, as John Harbaugh put it earlier, that's inconsistent. That's below
yeah.
standard for what the Ravens need at guard. And so, look, I think there was a lot to like yesterday from the tackle play. I thought Rosengarten was fighting his ass off against TJ Watt more often than not yesterday. I think Ronnie continues to show that he was worthy of that extension. That was team friendly, by the way, and he could have absolutely got more had he hit the open market, right? And I think Linderbaum played well. And at times, the guards did move bodies in the run game. But that 2% or whatever the percentage is of the handful of plays that make up a low light reel that knows no bounds in terms of length throughout this year and last year, it's the difference between finishing drives, stalling out in the red zone, keeping Lamar upright and healthy. I mean, that's, I don't think we should downplay what the percentage of these plays are, even if they are a handful, because they help decide games.
I mean, when we look back at this, we're gonna say, damn, Daniel Faalele has started at least 30 plus games for the Ravens. And I mean, I'm just going off of last season, he played all 17. Hey, shout out to him. The best ability is availability, but we also want you to do your job.
That's
but
what
like
was funny about
play,
that segment that I was playing earlier. Shannon's like, God damn, he's so freaking durable. That's the problem, he's so gosh darn durable.
well, like shit. I mean, he's played damn near 30 games as a full starter, and he's just bad. And that's the thing where it's like it blows my mind because it's like people have with the Ravens organization, people have gotten benched for a lot less. And then for players across the NFL, they have gotten benched for way less. I just don't understand it. But that just goes back to this is my last thing. I asked it in the super chat earlier on the Vault. Just like what way the Ravens organization, John Harbaugh, is going to try and gaslight fans into saying like, no, 77 is not the problem. Blah blah blah, whatever. I mean, I'm always amazed week to week how it's just like, well, no, like our guards actually, every NFL player has plays that they want back. John, you say that every single week about 77. Damn. It's like I'm in the Twilight Zone, man.
It is very similar messaging. You are right about that. And let's just hope the messaging's different behind closed doors in those positional meeting rooms, those film rooms. But you know what? I think we know that they are, but nothing's changing. So it doesn't really matter. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. He's going to stick to his guns as a head coach from a PR perspective and a loyalty standpoint. You can respect that. But the fact that those conversations are being had behind closed doors and those really difficult film sessions are being had, and who knows how Lamar's influence has played a role in all this, and yet nothing's changed, at least not significantly enough. That right there lies the indictment. So, Chef, great to see you, brother.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks to Preston Automotive Group for the continued support. The guest lines are open. Let me get a read in here. Got to get a number of other things in as well. I have a ton of content for you guys. We haven't even gotten to John Harbaugh's press conference yet, aside from his commentary on the offensive line. But he had a very, what he referred to as unusual, that's a direct quote, unusual morning call today with the league. And they admitted something to him related to one of the officiating gaffes from yesterday that I think you're going to want to hear more about. Thanks to Preston for the continued support. Preston Automotive Group has been one of my longest standing sponsors. Gosh, going all the way back to the fall of 2023. At Preston, first of all, they can be followed on Instagram at Preston Automotive Group. Get to know them more on a personal level. Always dropping great content there. And a lot of times you can learn more about some of the giveaways that we do from time to time throughout the season. They did just launch their grand opening of Boulevard Lincoln's new location in Millsboro, Delaware. For those of you that are in that area, perhaps that might be of interest to you. They also work with Mark Andrews. Mark's one of their brand ambassadors, as am I. And of course, they're also doing, I had a post on this from earlier in the season. They're working with Mark for every touchdown, which there haven't been a ton, but there have been 5 for Mark. For every touchdown, Preston is raising with Mark $890 towards finding a cure for type 1 diabetes, working with one of the groups that I know is near and dear to Mark's heart. That's Breakthrough T1D. So they do great work in the community, great work from a Ravens standpoint. They're a great follow on Instagram. And then on top of that, at PrestonMotor.com, which is linked in my show notes, subscribers of mine get access to 2 different offers that are always available to you at any dealership or location all throughout the DMV. One of those is $500, a $500 credit that can be used towards a new or pre-owned vehicle. Or when you buy 4 tires with them, you'll get 50% off your alignment. So consider checking them out. You can scan the QR code that you see right now in the upper right-hand corner. Want to say continued thanks to them for all that they do for my channel, and go check them out if you haven't already done so. Back to Unk, and then we're going to open up those guest lines yet again, because we only got about halfway through Shannon's rant on Nightcap last night. It was a 25-minute segment. Damn near 20 minutes was dedicated to 77.
Okay, man, this joke got, boy, this joke is here.
Yeah.
This is why I couldn't coach.
Well, actually, wait a minute. Now, see, that's one thing about it. Now, God always has a calling, huh? And most of the time, he'll knock on your door, and the fact that you don't answer the door, maybe that's the problem. The fact that maybe if you were coaching the Baltimore Ravens, Daniel wouldn't be playing like this. He probably wouldn't be playing like this if hearing it from you would register better than hearing it from whoever his coach is right now.
He heard it from Lamar. The quarterback.
I mean, it's too late to hear from Lamar now.
Chad, let me tell you something. In all my years, the quarterback rarely
never
single out any offensive lineman individually. He always does it as a group. Come on, guys, we got to do better than this. Come on, guys, we got to pick it up.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just saying, if you was my coach when I was playing, I would listen to you. I probably wouldn't have had no celebrations. I would hand the ball right to the ref. I'm lying.
Me.
Look at him.
I'm a coach. I said, look here, son. I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't. But I did make a recommendation that we cut you. Just so we clear.
Look at these
That's
guys.
my recommendation.
Hey, hold on. A recommendation?
Yeah, that's what I recommended. I don't know what's going to happen because it's out of my hands. But I did recommend this morning that we cut you.
It ain't that many good linemen.
Well, he ain't
like
one of them.
man.
So you're right. You're right. You're right. Per the broadcast, Lamar threw his helmet down after the last offensive series and then had a conversation with Daniel Faalele, who said they know it's coming every time.
We have the update on that, so I'm going to go back to the content. I mean, literally, you could go on and on and on. I played the Tracy Wolfson update for you earlier on in the stream. She joined the Glenn Clark radio program and said that it was Daniel who initiated the sideline conversation with Lamar. Then Zay worked his way in, so no need to go back down that line. I do need to get to all of the commentary that John Harbaugh gave today, including what he learned and was told and was given permission to share by the National Football League on a call, which is unusual to have that call. Just the second time this year, he said that he had a call with the league. But I want to get a couple more of you into the show before I kind of dive into that portion of it. And yes, if you are just tuning in, you probably showed up because of the way that you see the stream built, and that is around Ben Cleveland's suspension. It's a 3-game suspension. It's a DUI plea that's been finalized from his arrest back in February. He's now about to serve without pay a 3-game suspension. Ben has been a healthy scratch now for weeks, just 3 offensive snaps on the year. We know both guards are struggling and struggling mightily. We know that Emory Jones, after logging 16 snaps in his NFL debut on Thanksgiving night, got a goose egg. Last night, they went with Faalele, as they always do at right guard, and Voorhees at left guard. Both players, particularly Faalele yesterday, did not grade out well whatsoever, and that's where things stand right now. The other breaking news is that Patriots-Ravens, which was originally scheduled for 1 o'clock in a couple weeks from now on the 21st of December, has been flexed. It's now going to be played on Sunday Night Football. So mark your calendars accordingly. Week 16, Ravens, Patriots, previously scheduled for 1 o'clock, has been flexed to 8:20. So the Bengals and Dolphins are out. The Ravens, Patriots are in. It's Drake May versus Lamar Jackson. Primetime football coming up in a couple weeks. That'll shave probably a day and a half off the back end of my life because of what primetime games do when you do what we do in the coverage space. Aside from that, the Ravens also picked up a former undrafted rookie linebacker. They claimed him off waivers. That is a player by the name of Carl Jones Jr. He was with the Chicago Bears as of most recently. So claimed him from the Bears, 6 feet tall, 223, played his college football at UCLA, and now he's joining the Ravens organization. That, I think, catches up fully up to speed. Let's go to the guest lines. We'll get to the John Harbaugh press conference in just a bit. Is there enough content tonight for you guys? Appreciate you for being here. Like the video if you could. Subscribe. Hit that notification bell. AZ, still don't know your name. Azriel's Pet Nation. Call in. You know the drill. Start barking in the live chat. You don't call in. You certainly get my attention. I know that. Dre's been holding for a year. Jawan and Brother Goose, I see you guys down there as well. Welcome back, brother. What's going on, Dre Dog?
What's up, baby? Can you hear me all right?
Always.
All right, good, bro. So unfortunate for Ben Cleveland. We knew it was coming, but it's late in the season. Not that he would have gotten an opportunity. Clearly, they haven't, wanted to give him that opportunity. John hasn't wanted to give him that opportunity. But whoever he does play for, he's going to be pissed off. He is going to be pissed. Divorce, DUI, Missing money, oh my God, that's a triple threat. He gonna beat somebody's ass when he get on the field. The coward behavior of Daniel Faalele. There is a culture in the Ravens locker room where we've seen Zay do it, we've seen Roquan do it, now Daniel Faalele, Mark Andrews from last year. That culture of non-accountability is toxic as hell. That's one of the weakest approaches. I know that they don't owe the fans anything. I know all of that, like how you were saying earlier with Sarah. But I think that is one of the weakest things as men. As men, whatever we do, I feel like whatever we do as men, and we sacrifice time, energy, and people depend on us. When it comes to being accountable, we gotta stand up and be accountable. You gotta stand up and face that music. I got 2 kids. If I do something and mess some money up, or Christmas coming up, I'm going to have to explain why I couldn't get your tablet. I'm going to have to explain why I couldn't get your shoes. You get what I'm saying? Just the most basic thing in life and being a man, when you have people depend on you, you got to be able to be accountable. I just cannot respect any of these guys that are ducking out the media, and then to do it so purposefully. This was a premeditated thought. I'm going to make sure, because I know the rule, I'm not going to get dressed on purpose because I'm a coward. That's how I look at it. I look at it as cowardice to not be able to stand and face the music as a grown-ass man. That's soft as hell. That's soft as hell. I can't get down with that, especially from somebody like Daniel Faalele, who they've literally incubated in dysfunction. That's what you call dysfunctional incubation. There's a thing in psychology where people, I ain't gonna get too deep into that, but this is dysfunctional incubation is what Harbaugh has allowed when it comes to Daniel Faalele. And it's sadly, it's not going to stop. Sadly, even if they lose the next 4 games, I don't think Harbaugh's gone. Sadly, I don't think EDC is going anywhere. And I just don't know what the future holds for Lamar. $74 million on the next 2 years of his contract guaranteed. If they're going to do a deal, that $274 million, both of those got to be guaranteed in this next contract. You feel me? So I don't know, man. I don't know if this team truly. They've said they believe in Lamar and want to invest in Lamar, but you haven't given them a true number 1 wide receiver. You haven't given them a protective offensive line. It took you for years. You got J.K. Dobbins. He got hurt. Sorry that happened. But even when you had Gus Edwards, you only ran him 6 times, and Gus Edwards was averaging 4.9 yards a carry. You get what I'm saying? Like, there were things that just were negligent against Lamar or negligent against the team that by in turn affected Lamar, because that's all everybody talk about. The failures of the team become the failures of Lamar. And I'm going to put a period on that.
Thanks for the call, brother. Safe travels out there.
All right, bro. Thank you.
Later, Dre. And so I think there was a lot to unpack there, obviously. The first part of that call was related to what you see on the screen here from Kyle, who tweeted out yesterday that there was a crowd of reporters waiting by Daniel's locker last night, but the media policy is generally not to talk to players before they're fully dressed. That's what Dre was mentioning. Daniel was shirtless, took his shirt in his hand, nodded to reporters, and walked off. He did not return for questions. That's what Dre is referring to, just in case you guys have been living under a rock. We discussed this last night when it first came out. We discussed it at length today on The Vault in what became a very spirited back and forth. And while I will continue to reiterate what I said earlier this afternoon in response to Dre Dog, in life, I agree. Generally, I agree with the concept of accountability related to what Dre just eloquently stated. I think there's a way of holding yourself accountable internally, right, that you don't necessarily have to do or can do effectively through the media. And that's where I sit. I'm not moved the way some fans are, the way Sarah was earlier this afternoon. And it dates, she's been very consistent with it, dates all the way back to Mark Andrews, skipping his media session after the playoff drop in Buffalo. I just think there's different ways to handle that internally, knowing a little bit about the inner workings of what an NFL building is like and how it functions. So while generally those concepts in life are absolutely understood and I try to practice them, I don't know if there's a direct correlation in this example right here. And I try to take the emotion out of it, the emotion of frustration at the player for his underperformance. And that's how I fall where I fall there, downplaying the significance of this. Could he have gotten up there and made it all better? I don't think so. I don't think there's anything he could have said yesterday that would have solved this overnight. Think about what he would have been asked about. It would have been a Lamar in-game exchange that we now have context on. It would have been about several of the miscues. It would have been about the state of the team. And maybe, just maybe, as somebody who's lacked emotional intelligence over the years, as I grow into my adult self and hopefully the best version of myself, maybe, just maybe, he would have said something that he would have regretted. I can have empathy there. I can have empathy. T Smooth 18292 says, Bobby, you're so disingenuous. You just want to blame 8. T Smooth, you got it all figured out. I've built an entire channel around Lamar Jackson hatred, haven't I? You got it all figured out, don't you? Call in and tell me why you feel that way. Back to the guest lines we go. Jawan and then brother. Chronological order. JJ, Double J's in the house. Look at the gaming chair. He's ready to roll. Happy Monday to you, brother.
Yeah, Bobby. I ain't in the mood I usually am. I usually am in when I come on. It's Monday. I'm off that loss. I'm still in that, 36 hours KVN was talking about. But
my man hasn't rinsed, recycled, repeated yet. He hasn't flushed it yet.
I ain't flushed it. I ain't for rivalry. I was up for it. I could talk all day about the BS, the bad calls. But really, I just got 3 things I really want to get your thoughts on, see if you saw it, and kind of just chop it up with you about. Number 1, it was Aaron Rodgers. It was one of those times we had to call a timeout because we was in the wrong defense. And kudos to John Harbaugh. He called the timeout and saw it was, okay, yeah, we need to call a timeout. I wanted to see if you noticed it. I feel like Aaron Rodgers pointed over to our side, like, yeah, you better call that timeout because that was going to be a touchdown. And I think they kind of hit on it. Not Aaron Rodgers pointing over, but more so that I'm glad they called that timeout because that was going to be a bust. You know what I mean? But
interesting. So you're saying that Aaron almost
he was
in a form of competitive spirit, like looked over at him and be like, yeah, that was probably the right call or else I would have burnt your ass.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, guess what? If that's the case, probably would have matched up perfectly with what took place throughout other sequences throughout the game. Because 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers, and hold your glazing comments, I swear to God, if they start to make their way into the live chat, I'm going to be running hot. Because you want to know what? If there's ever a time for me to take a victory lap, which I am not, because I want the best for my audience, I want the best for my subscription base, 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers yesterday, what do you think he did, Jawan? The Ravens made him look like 32-year-old Aaron Rodgers. You want to know why? Because their pass rush is non-existent. And when you look at the staggering statistics online that I have right now on this graphic, as gathered by Ian Hartitz, it is undeniable that when you're looking for a rejuvenation game, if you're looking for a get-right game, come to Baltimore. That's what they've become this year. Aaron had 7 through 13 weeks of football, 7 completions of 20 or more air yards. Yesterday, he had 4, and the first came on the first offensive snap for Pittsburgh. And granted, it was beautiful poetry in motion that there wasn't a whole lot that Marlon could do. And DK Metcalf is one of the best, most physical specimens that the game has today. And it was perfect ball placement, even better ball handling there from DK. But clearly, Aaron had all kinds of time. And that brief little window after the Draymond Jones acquisition, just a little bit of a tease when it came to the pass rush that they were bringing to the table, that has since disappeared over the last couple of weeks. And I have a hunch that that's going to continue to be the case over the next month. You got me on a little bit of a soapbox. Well done, Jawan. Keep going. Sorry.
But now look, I'll push back a little bit.
Okay.
I'm a Ravens fan, and I'm gonna go down with the ship. But I'll say it wasn't so much the time he had, it was the game plan they had. Because if you think about it, us being in the shit show we was in, 1-5, you game plan for your rivals 2 weeks ahead. They was ready for us. In the sense of, I'll go up on one of my points. He had that number 14, he had that check down ready. Aaron Rodgers is looking 1-2, it ain't there. 14 is ready to catch that and go run. Them check downs, them hot routes, they were ready for any pressure. So they were getting it out quick. It wasn't so much the time, it was they were getting that ball out. 1-2, it ain't there. That's what I felt like we don't do. Last time I came on, I said we need to throw to our running backs more. And the thing I noticed is Lamar does not trust Derrick Henry. How many times have we seen Derrick Henry like, damn, just throw it? And it's like he's trying to lob it. And as a running back, I know it's like running backs can't catch. He's not a catch out the back. Throw the ball to Derrick Henry. Let him catch it. Sometimes he short arms it, and Derrick Henry barely has to try to pick it up off the turf because he's like, I don't really trust it to throw it at you. That one he threw to 26 Rasheen Ali or whatever, he sidearmed it. They talked about it on the broadcast. He gunned it. Trust him. Throw it.
Yeah, it's the layups, man. He's missing those layups, which are typically absolute guarantees for Lamar, right? From an accuracy standpoint, from a decision-making perspective. And those are the areas which have been really surprising that he hasn't been converting on time and time again. That actually is a nice segue to Matt Ryan's commentary on CBS. Listen to this.
Have been a struggle.
Yeah.
They have been a struggle for Lamar Jackson. Yeah. Part of that is due to injury.
Yeah.
Part of that, I think, it's not even the injury that's affecting him on the field. I think the limitations of not being able to practice during the week. You're seeing that show up with inconsistencies in the passing game.
Yeah.
And you need those reps, no matter how good you are. And Lamar, we are all huge fans of Lamar and just marvel at his ability to make plays. His explosiveness does not look the same as usual, but I also think the passing, which he has made great strides of in his career, the efficiency, the accuracy, it just has not been there. And I think that's part and parcel because you're not practicing. You got to go out there and you got to do it. You got to be on the same page with the guys that you have.
And the numbers bear that out as you see the last 4 games. This is unrecognizable when it comes to the Lamar that we've grown accustomed to seeing. A completion percentage of 54.8. Passing yards per game, 202.8. Total touchdowns, just 2, both of which came yesterday. 1 through the air, 1 on the ground. And by the way, very encouraging to see some of the willing and able ability physically wise with limited setbacks. That's been really encouraging for him over the last couple games, both of which obviously have gone down as losses. 6 total turnovers over the last 4 games. Each of those require context. We know that. The Pittsburgh one, where he just didn't get enough loft under it, intended for Rasheen Ali, was brutal. His cousin takes advantage of it. That's a back-breaking play. The Steelers immediately turned that into 6. The rushing yards per game, just 22.8 over that 4-game span. So you brought me nicely in here. Why don't you give it a final thought before I continue?
My final thought, I guess I'll leave that alone because we already kind of talked about it. I said my thing. But my final thought I'll say is to the vault. You and Sarah was talking about it. And I want you to go back and look. Y'all was talking about where their hitch, on Keaton Mitchell, where he hurt his knee. It wasn't the breakaway. It was the high step when he dodged that tackle. Somebody dodged for his knees right at the end before he broke away, and he high stepped a little bit, and then he kicked it back into gear. Go look right before he broke away.
Right. I looked at it pretty darn close. That was a funny conversation back and forth. But the good news is for Keaton is that he's day-to-day. That's what John Harbaugh's update was from today's press conference. He himself posted some encouraging things online as well. That's good news. He looked great up until just slowing down, pulling up, whatever you want to call it. I was arguing on the vault today that it was more slowing down. It was a sort of a semantics game. But Juwan, appreciate the call, brother. Talk to you soon.
Yes, sir.
Guest lines are open. I see Femi's in the chat. He's not happy with me. He's going to be joining the vault at 12:30 on Wednesday. I look forward to that back and forth conversation. Here is John Harbaugh talking about Lamar of late earlier this afternoon.
So, you want to have everybody practicing every day. I mean, it's your goal, as a coach. But it's a long season, man. I mean, these guys go through a lot. You know, Lamar, much as anybody, he's got the ball in his hand every play. He's making plays. He's doing what he does. He's competing like crazy. You know, so there's going to be times where he's just not going to be up for practice. It's just not going to be the best way to go about doing it. And that's a conversation between, you know, Lamar, the trainers. You know, we're involved in that to some degree. But, you know, what's best for him to be ready to play his best on Sunday. That's really what matters. And so, sure, you'd rather have everybody practicing all the time. But if it's not the best thing to practice because you want to get your body right, that's definitely got to, you know, I think you have to respect that as a coach. I know you have to respect that as a coach. So I respect Lamar and his judgment, and I thought he played very well. You know, I thought he played very well in the game.
I thought when they were trying to come back and get themselves back into the game, at times he was surgical. In that last drive, that throw across the middle of Charlie Kolar, fitting that in that window was beautiful. The way that he and Zay Flowers continue to connect is a thing of beauty. But there are still these missed layups, that egregious interception on a poor decision in the first quarter that immediately leads to points for the Steelers, that leave you questioning, one, what Matt Ryan just discussed, twofold. One, is he still second-guessing himself in terms of the gears that he has at his disposal physically? And are these missed practices, particularly on install days, coming back to bite him in the form of polish or lack thereof? Back to the guest lines we go. Appreciate you guys for being with me. Brother's been waiting, not to be confused with DeBruz. I need first names for you guys too. Because like, once the white, you guys are getting me into trouble here. The white guy's saying brother, right? I'm getting haymakers thrown at me. The pitchforks are out when really I'm just calling you by what you're labeled as in the waiting room. This is bullshit. Brother Goose, welcome back to the program, brother.
What up, Bobby? What up? Let me straighten it out for all the white boys out there. I always go by, my name is Goose. Just remember Mother Goose. I'm her brother, Brother Goose. Okay? So now we got that straightened out. Number two, all you fools out there talking shit about Bobby hating on number 8, back up off my boy. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. All right? Now let's get to some meat and potatoes. Faalele. Look, here's the deal. I've been around football for a long time, man. I was watching Johnny Unitas in Baltimore when they was with the Colts, okay? I know. I've been around since Burger King was still a prince. I get it. I know I look good for my age. I know. But what I do know is this. When it comes to football, you got to have a certain amount of football intelligence. Faalele ain't got it, man. I'm not mad at him not showing up for being interviewed. There's an old saying. It's better to have people, it's better to keep your mouth shut and have people think you're a fool than to open it and leave no damn doubt. All right? Faalele didn't know what to say. What's he going to say? Look, the man, I can't say he doesn't have heart or drive or whatever or wannabe. He's got that. Did you see that one whiff where the guy just went around him and he had the heart and the desire to chase that motherfucker all the way back there to where Lamar was? He tried to get there. It was too late. The movie made was trash. It was a I don't know what to do move. Some people got it, some people don't. He's big, he's huge. They're trying to get him to finally figure it out, but he ain't got it, man. Bobby, he ain't got it. All right? I'm not mad. What's he go? Well, the reason I don't know why. No, get your ass out of there. Don't talk to nobody. Don't leave no doubt. Okay, enough of that. I need to go back to likely. Shannon said it the way I said it when it first happened. What the hell are you putting your arms out for? Catch the ball, bring it in like you did on that first damn touchdown. You brought that sucker in and held it like a newborn baby. Why are you doing that, sticking it out?
And Goose, you're perfectly leading me in to this. I'm gonna let you stay with me if you could for a minute here.
Absolutely.
Here is Shannon and Ocho talking about Isaiah Likely from a technical standpoint yesterday.
For a catch to be completed, you have to take 3 steps. He took 2, and on that third
Before
one,
he got it
the
down,
ball
the ball
came
got
up out of
punched
there.
out.
Yeah, the ball got punched out. So technically, if that was in the field of play or if it was in the end zone, it would have been an incomplete pass. I mean, understanding the rules and knowing that he had possession, but you had to complete the catch with momentum and take that third step. It's unfortunate, and I mean they didn't win the game. Goddamn, Aaron Rodgers was dealing today. It wasn't just that play. I mean, there were other plays that could have been made that could have changed the trajectory of that game for the Ravens as well. But hell, you got to get a Steelers credit.
How many times likely are you going to get the ball punched out? Remember Ocho? He tried to switch the ball against Cincinnati, and he got it knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
Now go back and look at the first touchdown that he got and see what he did. He secured it. How many? You don't get style points for touchdown. He was doing this.
Mm-hmm.
All he had to do was secure it. He had it just like this here. Why? Because it looked cool. How many times? You saw him on Thanksgiving. He did the same thing and got it knocked out, and it was a touchback.
Damn thing.
So how many times?
Yeah.
Actions without consequences, no lesson can be learned. You would have thought the action that he had Thursday night on Thanksgiving would have taught him a lesson, because it was a valuable lesson to learn, because the consequences was it was a touchback and not a touchdown. But guess what? He didn't learn.
Okay, so Goose, stay with me here, right? Because I'm going to tie all this in.
Let's go.
Let's for now, for the moment, because we've milked this to the nth degree on the Vault's postgame show last night, this afternoon's Vault lunch hour live stream. If you want rule nitty-gritty X's and O's and breakdowns and rule book comprehension and that clarification, which clearly, as John Harbaugh said in his press conference, is as clear as mud. I think we can all agree there. And that has to be looked at from a league standpoint, because the officials are just operating on what the rule book dictates.
Right.
The rule book, obviously, I think we can all agree on, needs to be looked at very closely.
100%.
Coming off season, right? Same thing with pass interference, both on the defense and offensive side of the ball. And I think Tony Dungy has been really outspoken about that in recent weeks. So let's hope that. So let's just put that aside for a second. Let's talk about this. I don't want to call it a trend, but in recent weeks, Isaiah Likely has found himself on the wrong end of these ball handling mistakes. And that came up in a couple different areas. A former quarterback in Matt Ryan shared his perspective. And then most importantly, John Harbaugh shared his earlier this afternoon. Listen to Matt first.
He speaks to both coaching staffs, because everybody in that picture was doing it exactly like you're coached to do it. And it happened to work out for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But Isaiah Likely is doing exactly what you're taught in those situations of keeping the ball extended away from the defender who's got to reach all the way through those long arms. Yeah. And he was a click away from getting that third foot down. And so the gap, the difference, but the delta between these two teams, it is small. It is tight.
Hold on now. Harbaugh says not so fast. Listen to this exchange earlier.
Likely touchdown, the one that was called not a touchdown. Were you fine with how he caught it? Is that how you guys want him to catch the ball in that situation, trying to keep it out, considering the defender is right there behind him?
No.
Hey. What up with that?
And now I bring you full circle into one guy saying one thing, the other saying the other. All I care about for the purpose of this conversation, all due respect to the great Matt Ryan, John Harbaugh is running this operation, and he just straight up said, and credit Cordell Woodland from 105.7 The Fan for asking it straight up, he was not okay. He was not approving of Isaiah Likely's technical ball handling there. He had an issue on Thanksgiving night that changed the course of that game. He had a big issue yesterday that helped decide that game. It's got to get cleaned up. We can talk about the rule book. We can talk about the officiating. We can talk about the inconsistency and the role that all three of those calls had in the game. But Isaiah cannot put himself in that position, period.
He can't. And the bottom line is, again, Matt Ryan, all props to you, bro. But I don't know of any coach who will tell them, stick that ball out there. I mean, the bottom line is you are in a hell of a lot less control with the ball away from your body than you are with the ball close to you. Even if you know that man is right on your back, grab it, clutch it, and pull it in tight because you know he's going to do anything he can to chop your arms and make you, I mean, come on, receiver one-on-one, to
Goose.
chop your arms and know he's going to try to get your arms out of there. Am I right, Bobby?
Correct. I appreciate the call. It was phenomenal. Good to see you, and thanks for going to bat for me as always.
Oh, get back up off my boy.
I appreciate the energy, man. Enjoy it.
You got it. All right.
Talk to you. Brother Goose, man. He's following me in a burning building. I feel pretty darn confident about that for sure. Now, John Harbaugh, as I've alluded to a couple times now, shared some perspective on what he called an unusual morning with the league on the phone. Listen to this.
You'd send the play in on the punt return, on the punt holding penalty, and this. If I can go back to the conversation you had about the replay play and the Travis Jones play, was that call you guys initiated this morning, and is that unusual for you to do?
Yes and yes. That's not, I think I've done it one other time this year so far. I'll say this, Perry Fuel, Walt Coleman are great. You know, those are the two guys that interact with the coaches directly. We don't get to interact with anybody else, whoever else there is back there behind the scenes. But those two guys are the guys that relate to the coaches. And anytime I've ever called those guys, I mean, I've known those guys for over 20, close to 28 years, both those guys. And they're excellent and they're honest. And sometimes it's tough on them to explain it. So I understand that too.
Okay, so this morning, DaCosta, Harbaugh, and others partook in a conference call with the National Football League in an effort to get some clarification. Again, there wasn't any clarification that John Harbaugh felt satisfied with. So much so at the top of his press conference, he says it's as clear as mud. He also had this to say about one of the three controversial plays that had to do with Travis Jones.
Discuss with them the Travis Jones call, or is that another? Do you go a different process because that one didn't go through?
We did discuss the Travis Jones call as well, and the Travis Jones call. They told me, and they told me I had permission to state this, that it was a wrong call. It should not have been called.
They told you that?
Yes.
So Travis Jones, the NFL, in other words, the NFL this morning admitted to John Harbaugh on that conference call that they got it wrong. Point blank. That they got it wrong. Big moment in the game. There is no question about that. Big number 98 doing what he does. Right? Boswell was setting up for a chip shot, which he converted from 32 yards out. But Travis Jones is called for a personal foul, unnecessary roughness. So what did the Steelers get? A fresh set of downs and punched it in not long after. Massive play, massive swing. And that is how probably I look at this press conference today. The biggest takeaway is the fact that the NFL called John Harbaugh, and there's nothing they could do to change anything. But they gave him permission to share what he stated just there, and that's that they were wrong on the Travis Jones call. Can't they expedite that? As you look at, big picture, how the NFL can get better, how they can continue to respect the integrity of officiating, the integrity of competitive spirit, the integrity of the season itself, and the NFL from a global perspective. Can't they find a way to expedite penalties, make them reviewable? If New York can come in so quickly and determine what it did with Aaron Rodgers and Teddy Buchanan, can't that be practiced from the review process of penalties? Making sure that accuracy and integrity and consistency is at the forefront of what should be the priority. Let's make that the epicenter. Let's make that the forefront of continuing to grow the game. Waiting room is still cooking. DeBruz, I've made him wait forever. Goose got me in a tangent, didn't he? The reason why you guys probably showed up, I haven't even mentioned it in probably 20 minutes now, is that Ben Cleveland's been suspended for 3 games. He officially violated the NFL's substance of abuse policy, and he finalized a plea deal, a DUI plea deal from his arrest back in February. And so now it's a 3-game suspension for a player that was brought back in on a very team-friendly, just over $1 million deal for the 2025 season. He's logged just 3 offensive snaps and has been a healthy scratch for close to a month now. Bruz, welcome back to the program, brother. Good to see you, man. Let's unmute you. Let's get you unmuted.
All right, my bad. Good man, what's going on with you?
Good to see you, man. What's up?
Hey, listen, so what the problem I have is just the lack of consistency with these calls, right? So a couple weeks ago, Pittsburgh played Green Bay, the same exact play. They called a touchdown, right? And it was just like the likely play, but instead of him having the ball in front of him, he had the ball over his head and he got knocked out. It was called a touchdown on the field, and it wasn't overturned. It was confirmed. We talk about Aaron Rodgers, that the ball was pinned to his head. He has to survive the catch to the ground, which he didn't. Again, lack of consistency. This Travis Jones thing, it's a 4-point swing. We lost by what? We would have been lined up for at least a game-leading field goal. It's just all of these things we're talking about with the league. And mention Isaiah likely play is Isaiah likely play. I'm taking that out. I'm just pointing to the lack of consistency in the league, man, and it leads to a bigger issue for me. Well, 2 points. One, the Ravens don't have an identity, bro. The Ravens did not start scoring until they start running the ball, man. If you look at halftime, I think Derrick Henry, and I was at the game again. Derrick Henry had 8 carries at halftime. When you talk about a team who just gave up over 200 yards on the ground to Buffalo, and Buffalo had 2 of their starting tackles out of that game, and they gave up over 200 yards, right? So regardless of how bad, and I'm not going to go to Faalele because I think he's horrible. And I told you before, you can't have 2 bad guards, right? Because it's making your center look horrible. You either got to get rid of switch. If you keep Faalele, you got to get rid of Voorhees, but somebody has to go. But we don't have an identity. We did not start scoring, and Lamar Jackson didn't look like Lamar Jackson until Pittsburgh at least believed we were going to run the ball, right? As long as we were dropping back 3rd and 8, they were able to blitz, get pressure off the edge, play games, and all of those things. Besides Harbaugh, I told you this 4 or 5 months ago. Monken is a problem for me, man. Like his inability to call a game, make in-game adjustments, and know the particular weakness of your opponent and exploit it is evident. He's had a great 2-3 year run, but people have already said they know not gonna say know our playbook, but we're not surprising anybody, right? It took them that long to implement Keith Mitchell into the lineup and actually have decent plays for him. But we're not running screens with Keith Mitchell. We're not running screens with Derrick Henry. Like, you have these backs that you're not utilizing, and then you want to, in the second half, you wonder why your offense is running the way it's running. It's because now you are feeding into your identity. You don't have to worry about Faalele on passing downs. If you are, the play action helps your guards. If they at least believe the back is going to get the ball, they can't play as many games up front. And besides Harbaugh not having the skill set to make that adjustment because he's not an offensive coach, you depend on Todd Monken. And Monken has not adjusted, nor has he utilized his backs the way he can or the way he should, especially if you're running a 2 tight end set. You have Andrews, you have Likely. Who benefits the most off the play action? The tight ends, because they can go over the middle. But you're seeing career lows in Andrews, career lows in Likely. That is because our offensive coordinator cannot adjust. And my last point is the Ravens did get some pressure, but these jokers, they allow 100-year-old Aaron Rodgers to duck sacks. Mike Green comes off the edge and he misses him. He ducks. How you let this old man duck and get out of the pocket? In one play, it was 7 seconds, Bobby. 7 seconds on the play across the middle. He scrambled right and threw left. It's just, that is my issue with our Baltimore Ravens. I will be at the game.
Bro, stay with me here. Rodgers, listen to Rodgers last night on that discussion.
Protection was excellent. AP went down, and I thought Cookie stepped in and played really well. Obviously we gave him a little help on the first couple of them, but proud of him for stepping in. But the line, really gave me a lot of time today. There were some extensions. I kind of got out of a couple. Couple potential sacks, but for the most part, it was a super clean day. And to still be recovering from my injury and to not really get hit a whole lot. I don't know if I was on the ground one time without being clumsy and falling down. So that's a good day, good feeling tonight. Appreciate those guys, and I really felt the rivalry today and how much it means to both teams and the fans.
Bros,
Bobby, that part.
Hold on a second. Perhaps one less cold tub session for 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers, and that's the benefit of playing the Ravens pass rush or lack thereof.
Bobby's that part. He said it. I got out of a couple of them. He was able to scramble, and we missed sacks. Mike Green came off the edge, not a problem. Aaron Rodgers literally just ducked down, and the difference between that and Buffalo is Buffalo closed on those sacks. They were able to make those plays, and they ran the ball. That was the distinct difference defensively. Did we get pressure? Not as much as we needed to, but those 2 or 3 sacks changed the complexity of play calling for those downs. And because we aren't closing out, how many almost sacks has this team had? Where we hit the quarterback, he scrambles or gets out. I mean, you saw it against Cincinnati last week. Almost sacks, almost got Joe. They are not closing the finishing. So then that question becomes, are the plays being called correctly because they're getting there, or are the players just not closing the deal? Your Mike Green, your Van Noy's, I'm not even talking about Ajabo because I don't understand. And I don't even know what Carl Lawson is doing, but we're just not closing the deal, which dictates down and distance. And when you don't close the deal, now you're secondary, because they were really just doing one-on-one rub plays. Even if they started Metcalf in the slot, they would make sure that Marlon Humphrey was on him and pin him to the outside. They would cross and make sure Marlon Humphrey, because they didn't feel like he was fast enough. And yeah, he was there, but that was the game plan, to take shots against Marlon Humphreys. But we are not. When I say not, and you'll see it against Cincinnati this week. Matter of fact, I'll call in after that game, and you and I'll keep a tally of how many almost sacks. The Ravens probably lead the league in almost sacks. That's just where I am.
Nance and Romo were almost scoffing or having a little bit of fun with the fact that this team has 19 total sacks, and their rookie leads the way with 2.5. Guess who's got 2 and hasn't played in 2 months? Nnamdi Mabukike. By the way, we have an update on Nnamdi Mabukike that isn't much of an update other than continued ominous optics, I think is the best way to put it. Here is John Harbaugh earlier this afternoon.
About a while. Has there been any clarity on Nnamdi Mabukike's situation? Do you know any more about that you can share?
No, not that I can share. There's a lot going on there. It's with Nnamdi, and I'd love to share some stuff, but I can't share it right now.
Oh boy, he posted a cryptic Instagram post over the weekend. Nnamdi did. There's a Reddit thread going around that's garnering a ton of different traction online. Does not look good there. I'll leave it at that. What else can you say? We've already speculated enough. It's a neck. They have not talked about it. He says there's a lot going on there. I mean, it's hard to sit and think here that the no news, good news type phrase would represent this, because I don't think it does. So I'll just leave it at that. T. Higgins is back in concussion protocol for the Bengals. It is Bengals week all of a sudden. Again, the second of these two matchups coming up this weekend in Cincinnati. Scary moments for T. Higgins in Buffalo in the middle of this winter wonderland yesterday. So that'll be something to watch. As far as Trey Hendrickson's concerned, you won't have to deal with him. But again, the Ravens still had their issues, and he wasn't even there on Thanksgiving night. He's set to undergo core muscle surgery this week. It's expected to sideline him 6 weeks. That's according to Schefter. He initially suffered the injury during week 6 against Green Bay. Point is, not going to go read that whole thing. Point is, he's not going to be available for them coming up on Sunday in Cincy. Brother, great to see you, man. Thanks for the call. I'll catch up with you soon.
All right.
Guest lines are still cooking. I see you, Andrew. I see you, Maurice. I appreciate you guys for being with me tonight. If you could like the video on the way in, subscribe, hit that notification bell, consider becoming a channel member or gift-giving membership. Captain has hit us with another super chat, and he says, why does the offense look better in the second half? Todd's scripted plays are not being talked about enough for these slow starts. They've really struggled in opening drives. Really struggled. Up until the Cincinnati game, they hadn't scored a touchdown in scripted format on an opening drive since Kansas City. That was September 28th. So it hasn't been good enough. And there's been a multitude of reasons as to why. And from a timing perspective, I did want to push back there a little bit on DeBruz when it comes to the Todd Monken critique. He's not above critique. But sometimes you are as good as your personnel is. You've heard me say that over and over again with the state of this offensive line. They don't consistently move bodies. Derrick Henry having to face contact before he can truly get going behind the line of scrimmage, probably to him feels like 2023 in Tennessee before he came to Baltimore. It's not good enough. They haven't called it, as Todd always says, they haven't called it well enough. They haven't executed it well enough. They haven't designed it well enough. And it's across the board, a failure through 13 games, 14 weeks. Now putting themselves in a position for yet again, a razor-thin margin of error. Let's go back to the guest lines here. As you look at the AFC playoff picture, I had this up from Kalshi earlier. 33% is what the Ravens' analytical chances have plummeted to in terms of postseason contention. Kansas City with a loss at home last night, at Arrowhead to Houston is now at 17%, and the Bengals, who lost in Buffalo, at 8%. They need a lot of help and obviously to win out. Andrew, thanks for holding, brother. Welcome back, man.
What's up, man? Two things. First thing is that Harbaugh, during the Thanksgiving game, made a whole comment about how he doesn't want Likely extending the ball. So his commentary today didn't expect anything other than what he said on Likely's technique. Second thing, I don't like EDC's philosophy with drafting. Since 2019, 7 years of drafting, 4 players in the top 2 rounds, either offensive line or edge. Rosengarten, Linderbaum, Owe, and Mike Green. That's not getting the job done for you. Stop trying to appease Lamar with Flowers, Bateman, all these defensive backs. They haven't done anything for you when John Harbaugh wants to run the ball and stop the run. That's what he says he's wanted to do since 2008. So what are we doing with drafting that's setting this team up for not making a run at the end of the year when they want to run the ball and stop the run? It's ridiculous.
Appreciate the call, brother.
Yeah,
Thank you, man. You know that those front office discussions, if this continues to trend in the direction that it is, plenty to be had in the next month or so. Ultimately, there's a bunch of different areas to point to. And maybe to your point, appeasing Lamar is an area that they'll have to draw a line on in terms of his wishes. Now, obviously, they're going to make decisions at the end of the day. It's their call. But I think we all know Lamar's had a level of influence in this, whether it be OBJ, whether it be D-Hop, which was years in the making, whether it be Zay. And look, Zay, I think Zay's in front row seat here to be the first Ravens homegrown wide receiver to be paid. And it ain't going to be market resetting money, but it certainly is going to be good money. And if he wants that and he wants to continue this partnership with Lamar, assuming that Lamar has an extension coming his way, if he and Eric DeCosta can find middle ground this offseason, then I think that could be a really successful partnership for years to come, especially if they retool at tight end effectively. I think we know that Likely's not going to be here. He's probably going to get paid and get paid handsomely by a team that's tight end needy over the course of the next couple of months. And one area from a drafting perspective that I think we can trust the Ravens on is tight end. Time and time again, they've really hit and developed well at that position. And then when you think about the fact that King Henry, if you retool and rebuild the offensive line through the draft and perhaps through free agency, and he's not getting hit behind a line of scrimmage more often than not, he's not hit a cliff. He just hit the 1,000-yard mark this past game, despite everything that's taken place with not having Lamar for several weeks and running behind that offensive line, which probably, I'll say it again, like I said a couple minutes ago, probably feels Tennessee-esque back in 2023 for him. So good stuff, brother.
Take care, man.
Oh, let's see. A lot of commentary today. I appreciate you guys for being with me. The AFC playoff picture entering Monday Night Football looks as you see on the screen right now. Denver would be the top overall seed and earn the first round bye. New England, who the Ravens will see in a couple weeks, and that game was just flexed from 1 o'clock to prime time on the 21st of this month, would be the 2 seed. Jacksonville, surging right now, would be the 3 seed and a divisional winner. And of course, the Steelers, having beaten the Ravens yesterday, would be the 4 seed at 7-6. Your wild card teams would be Buffalo, the Chargers, who play tonight, Houston, who beat Kansas City last night, and of course, the lurking teams on the outside looking in, Indianapolis, Baltimore, Kansas City, Miami. It's notable that Daniel Jones is done for the year. I think you can take the Colts out, given his torn Achilles. I hate that for him. I absolutely hate that for him. And I loved, as a fan of sport and turnarounds, that's exactly what he was able to do in Indy this year. Resurrect his career and turn things around, beating out Anthony Richardson for the quarterback spot. Jonathan Taylor, obviously, is a big part of why he's had a lot of success. But I think the Colts are going nowhere fast without Danny Dimes, or what do they call him? Indiana Jones? That's a look at the AFC playoff picture. Maurice, welcome back to the program, brother. Good to see you tonight. What you got for me?
All right, I'm going to start out with Daniel Faalele slander. Now, maybe it's just me, but if I see Daniel Faalele on the field again, I'm going to lash out. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to legitimately lash out because, think about it. Daniel Faalele and his poor guard play is basically that's part of the reason for Lamar getting hurt on a number of occasions. Now, another thing I'd like to point out is this. I find it funny how this Ravens team, they are a team that often prides itself off of, establishing the run. But here's the problem. This organization haven't addressed the offensive line as much as they should. Now, honestly, in the span of 30 seasons, we've seen a lot of good offensive linemen come and go, from Jonathan Ogden to Jeff Blackshear to Mike Flynn. The list goes on. Honestly, Daniel Faalele sure as hell isn't one of them. And I don't know. There's just no telling how long this could continue on. Something really needs to be changed here.
Thanks, Maurice. Appreciate the call, man. Guest lines are open. If you want to share a thought with me tonight, John Harbaugh talked about the offensive line during his press conference earlier, and it's been no different messaging-wise. He did criticize constructively Daniel. Matter of fact, if you're just tuning in right now, I'll play those comments for you just because we're entering 90 minutes territory, so maybe you missed it from earlier on. But here was John Harbaugh's thoughts from earlier today.
With going forward, with the offensive line, we've asked you a lot about changes. Were you pleased how that group played as a whole on Sunday? I know there's been a lot of talk about Faalele's play and how he got beat on a couple of occasions. What did you see when you evaluated him, and as you continue to evaluate him?
Yeah, I just talked to George Moorhup about it. It's all in all, I thought the offensive line played well, all in all. And I thought the 2 tackles played 2 of their best games. Rodgers overset one time, got beat inside on a certain type of pass protection. Tyler played really well. I thought the guards played exceptionally well in the run game. I mean, they were moving people. They were wearing people out. So that was good to see. I thought they were mostly good in the pass game, but too inconsistent probably. There was 2 or 3 each of them had probably. Daniel had a couple in the pass game, and Andrew might have had 1 or 2 in the run game he wants back. But every player has plays they want back. I can think of one where Daniel was hard setting, like a hard play action, where it was more of a drop back pass type protection, got overextended and got beat like that. That's That really shouldn't happen. I mean, he should be setting a different way there. He knows that. So that was a mistake. Lots of other times it was good. We got beat toward the end on a two-man inside game. That we could have done a better job on. Keep Lamar clean right at the end of the game there. So things like that needed to be better from the interior guys.
Constructive feedback in there and commentary, specifically on Faalele there. And Jeff Zarebek, by the way, salute to Jeff for asking some of those tricky questions in a way that John Harbaugh sometimes today, not always, but sometimes today can be receptive to. We'll talk more about that at length, I'm sure, on the Collective tomorrow night. Would love for you guys to subscribe to that channel. It's our Tuesday night show with Jeff, Cole Jackson, and myself. That'll be coming up tomorrow in a little over 24 hours from right now. Leon's been holding. We'll go back to the guest lines here and get your thoughts on where things are at. What's going on, dude? First-time caller? Am I correct on that? Leon's been holding. We'll go back to the guest lines here and get your thoughts on where things are at. You got a little bit of
What's up, Bobby?
Hey, go ahead and mute that in the background, will you? I'm going to give you another shot at that. Mute that in the background. We'll get you on in a second. Not a fan. Steve's in the house. Where the hell you been, bro? Welcome back to the program. Does anybody want to do me a solid tonight with connectivity or no? God, who's Clean House 2026? Back to Leon we go. What's up, brother? Hey, mute the show in the background, will you? House 2026. Back to Leon we go. What's up, brother?
All right, Bobby, I got to step in another room here. Can you hear me?
Goodness gracious. Reset.
Can you hear me, Bobby?
Yeah, can you hear me? Oh, Leon, you're blowing it, my man. Richard, what's up, brother?
What's up, Bobby? How you doing?
Talk to me, man.
I'm gonna go ahead and I have actually 3 major points I'm gonna go over. So, I mean, the first one, I genuinely believe that the Ravens aren't gonna win another game the rest of the season, and I'm gonna make a very clear reason why. So, we lost due to offensive line play these past 2 games against depleted defenses. We're talking about a Bengals about Trey Hendrickson. We're talking about a Pittsburgh team about Derek Harmon and Duggar. So you're telling me that the Ravens can't fucking block a depleted defense and we're about to play against Green Bay and New England? No way. No fucking way. I'm sorry. No. There's no way that we're going to be able to block. Last week we had a chance with Emory Jones coming into the field, and then for some reason, Harbs sees something that no one else sees, takes him out this week. We can't overcome Harbs. We can't overcome the offensive line play, and then honestly, you can't overcome coaching. You can't overcome a poor offensive line, and you can't overcome, not having Derrick Henry run the ball. Now, the other thing those are 2 major points. The last major point, I would say I'm actually more concerned about this than I am about anything else. I am actually really concerned about Ben Cleveland's mental health, to be honest with you. Because I mean, when we're talking about the DUI that happened, early in the season, I strongly believe that was of a result that finding out that his fiance, wife, whoever it was, that cheated on him, and so I don't think he's actually recovered from that yet. And so with the DUI, I'm imagining he's probably abusing substances, and perhaps that's the reason why he hasn't made himself on the field. And so right now, I don't know who knows or doesn't know Ben Cleveland, but I would love someone to do a wellness check who knows him and just double check to see how he's doing. I mean, that's more important than football, in my opinion. So that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, appreciate that. Obviously, no evidence that might be the case, but if there is a correlation there, and I should say no concrete evidence, right? You can.
This is what my gut's telling me. I have no proof, but this is what my gut is telling me.
Yeah, and if that's the case, you do really wish the best for the guy. I've had a chance to meet him a couple times. Great dude. I mean, this dude is fun. He's a ball buster, and he's just never truly realized his full potential that I'm sure the Ravens wanted to tap into, which is why they used a day 2 pick on the guy in the 3rd round out of Georgia, which was believed to be known as a hand pick by Harbaugh. Richard, great seeing you, man.
Yep, great seeing you.
Later. Leon, let's give you another shot, baby. Come on now. Don't do it to me again. Welcome back, brother. Where you at?
Hey, Bobby, can you hear me?
There is a nasty delay on this right now,
I
but
can
go ahead.
hear myself.
Man, Leon, he got FaceTime, but no time for commentary, did he? We tried to give him one more time. One more time. Can you believe, Tisha, we're coming up on 2 hours and I'm still live solo? Thanks to the Discord server for continuing. Look at all the activity in here right now. I would love for you guys to join. It's a 24/7 hub for conversation surrounding Baltimore sports. And there's been commentary in here all day long. Go check it out. Andrew's in here. Evan's in here. Raves mixing it up. I mean, all day long. There's a pinned comment that's been updated right now to reflect the free access link. I'll drop that into my live chat right now, just in case you guys aren't familiar with it. Come on in. It's a great way to interact with me on a more informal basis. That could be in the Bobby After Dark section. There's a football section. There's a baseball section. You name it. Hopefully you guys hop on in there. We're coming up on 1,100 members. 1MA, don't get me going with you. Appreciate you guys for hanging out tonight. I'm going to go watch Monday Night Football, get a cigar, wind down from what was an insane day, an insane 24 hours of news cycle. The Ravens brought in an undrafted linebacker they claimed off waivers, Carl Jones Jr. from Chicago. Their Week 16 game against the Patriots was flexed. It's their last home game of the year, which is coming up on the 21st. It was originally scheduled for the 21st. It was originally scheduled to kick off at 1 o'clock. It's still the 21st, which is a Sunday, but now it's in that 8:20 Sunday Night Football zone. So mark your calendars accordingly there. Ben Cleveland has officially been suspended. He reached a plea deal for the DUI arrest from last February. And I'm sure there's other things that are going on that I wasn't able to get to that will cover thoroughly coming up tomorrow on the Vault at 12 noon Eastern. So thanks to Preston Automotive Group for the continued support. Thanks to you guys for showing up here in droves. A lot of you have been reaching out to me individually, and by a lot of you, it's only a couple, but sometimes you're hyperbolic when you talk for a living. Sorry, I don't mean to do it. It's just kind of how it goes when you literally talk all day long. Some of you want to know how you can donate in an area that's outside of the YouTube space. A couple different areas, Venmo, Cash App, and as always, nothing's ever expected. Anything's always appreciated. And the free things that go a long way are liking the video, subscribing, hitting that notification bell, and telling a family friend, telling a group message about whatever, the Vault, this channel, or anything else in between. I appreciate you guys, as always, for being here. And I'll catch up with you tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern inside the Vault. Enjoy Monday Night Football. Later.